Alrighty, let's get to it. This is the box that I received today. Alright, first thing to do, okay, and yep, looks good. Now we have 2 tires. Awesome. My bike is in desperate need of these. Then we have one more thing. We have grips, which I am pretty psyched about. In order to replace the tires, the first thing you want to do is take the wheels off your bike. If you have 3 axles like I do, prepare a clean paper towel and set the axles on it. This way you don't get any dirt or water on them. Once you have both wheels off, set one wheel aside. Also, if you're doing this inside, be sure to put down a towel or some newspaper because this process can get messy. After you have the wheels off, put the frame of the bike up in a work stand or hang it on something to keep it out of the way and give you more space to work. Second, deflate the wheel all the way. This can be done on press-to valves by unscrewing the top and then holding it down, or by removing the valve core entirely. On a Schrader valve, you can take out the core, but unless you've got a core removal tool, I would recommend just pushing down the center pin until all the air is out. After all the air is out, you need to break the bead. The bead is the seal that is formed by tubeless ready rims and tires. The best way to break the bead is to grip the tire with your hands with your thumbs parallel to the rim. Then push inward and pull up and away at the same time. On some bikes you may need to push hard to get the bead to break. When it does break, you will feel the tire give and see it separate from the rim. After you break the bead, run your hands around the tire just above the rim and push the edges of the tire away from the rim. Repeat the process on the opposite side of the tire. Once you have the tire fully away from the edge of the rim, use a pair of tire levers to get one side of the tire off the rim. Once it is fully off, you should be able to just pull the other side of the tire over the edge of the rim. You can now get rid of the old tire, but be careful not to spill the sealant still inside the tire. Before installing a new tire, be sure to clean the rim with a wet towel and some rubbing alcohol. Next, take out your new tire and put one side of the tire into the rim. Try to align the edge of the tire with the center channel because this gives you more slack to get the tire on the rim. There are a few things to watch out for here. First, make sure you match the rotation arrow on the rim with the direction that your wheel rotates. The tire is designed to be most effective when it rolls a certain direction, so be sure to have the tire on the right way. Second, line up the big brand name on the tire with the valve. This makes diagnosing problems easier because you know exactly where the tire is positioned on the rim. Once one side of the tire is on, use your thumbs and work your way around the opposite side and put that on the rim as well. Next, take a pump and seat the bead. On fancy pumps like the one I have, there is an air chamber that you can pump up to blast air into the tire quickly. Turn the dialer switch on your pump to the setting for inflating the air chamber. Pump it up to about 120 psi, and then turn the switch or dial back to direct the air into the tire. Keep pumping as the air enters the tire, and pump the tire up to about 30 psi. This is a higher pressure than what I would normally ride with, but the higher pressure will help force the sealant into smaller areas and give you a more complete seal. Speaking of sealant, now need to put the sealant into the tire. Deflate the tire all the way and remove the valve core. Shake the bottle of sealant up to mix the liquid and the latex particles. If you have sealant in a big bottle like I do, put a small amount into a smaller bottle like the one I have. Put the sealant into the tire via the valve stem. The sealant works like a scab. It gets pushed into a hole, dries, and seals it up. It is highly effective on small punctures, and tubeless setups are almost mandatory out here in Arizona, where we have natural landmines like cactus. I ran over a small piece of cactus once and had it ripped out by my mud guard, and the sealant worked beautifully. I didn't even have to stop to fix anything. Replace the valve core and reinflate the tire. Then slosh the sealant around and bounce the wheel around a few times to really move the sealant around. I would recommend waiting at least a few hours before riding to really make sure there's no issues with the seal. You may need to add more sealant and bounce the tire around a bit more to achieve a solid seal. It's much easier to do this in your garage than try to do it out on the trail. Repeat this process for the second tire. After you've waited to make sure the seals are solid, reinstall the tires on your bike. Installing new grips are pretty straightforward. All you need to do is assemble the grips and then put them on your bars. You do not need to tighten the bolts down a lot. If you do this on carbon bars, then they can crack. If you have a torque wrench, there's usually a torque reading near the bolts on the grips. If there's no torque reading, 2 to 3 Newton meters of torque is usually good. My grips came without a torque reading, so I tightened them to 3 Newton meters. Repeat this process for the second grip. That's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to be posting all of these maintenance videos under a new playlist on my channel called Bike Maintenance, so if you ever want to find them, that's where they'll be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.